What is going on, people? It is your old pal CHH here. Now today I want to talk about the greatest Arnold Schwarzenegger on 4K UHD. What movies of his have been released on 4K? There's good news and there's bad news. The good news is there are some great Arnold Schwarzenegger movies available on 4K UHD. The bad news is not all the great ones are yet released on 4K UHD. And out of the whole list of the ones I have, there's only one that looks like crap. But the real unfortunate news is the one that does look like crap. But guys, look, there's a lot to be excited about. I'm doing this video because, of course, I love Arnold. I'm a big action movie fan, and in November, I love to watch action films. And for the people that are getting into 4K, getting into high def and things like that, these are some titles that you need in your collection. So let's get started. I want to start with the very first Arnold Schwarzenegger movie I ever got on 4K. Now, this was a title I was surprised to see hit 4K, but it did. And what movie is that? I'm talking about Red Heat. This is with Jim Belushi, the brother, not John. Red Heat is kind of like an underrated Arnie movie. I think this one's actually really good. This was a very nicely priced 4K. When it came out, it was cheap. That's the one thing I remember about this film. This was like one of those first wave of 4K movies that came out at a really reasonable price. But this is Arnie in '88, so this was before he became, well, he was a star, a big-time star at this point, but he was about to be a god. You know, once 91 hit, there was no denying, like, it was Arnie's time and not Sly's time. Stallone was still riding really, really high in the late 80s. But Red Heat was a really good movie. Arnie was really good at getting the crossover comedy fans. And this movie's really funny. Obviously, with Jim Belushi in here, he's a big help. But I really like this movie. There's a great line of cocaine in here that I love. But this was, in fact, a really, really good looking 4K, and if this is still available, it should be. There's no reason it shouldn't be, but it was priced really well. That's the one thing I remember about this movie was I got it really cheap. So Red Heat is, I think, an underrated Arnie film. Love this movie. The next one, there's a big debate. Which of these two films is the best? Directed by Paul Verhoeven. Now, me personally, I think RoboCop is the best movie ever, but a lot of people, and I respect it, will tell you that this is his best. Total Recall. Total Recall is one of the greatest action films, of all time. It's futuristic, it's out of this world, it's action-packed. This was an insanely good 4K. This was put up by Studio Canal, and so was this. Yeah, because they have these similar looks, kind of like those curved slip covers, which is very interesting. I'm just now realizing that. But this is the 30th anniversary. Total Recall was the movie to me that, if you look at Arnie's catalog, this is the one that made him go up another level, in a sense, because he had done some great films. Like, one of my favorites he did was Twins a few years before that, but this is the one where he was like, okay, let me kick it back into serious gear, and this was great. Wasn't this Sharon Stone? Yes, and this is one of her best movies. I love Sharon Stone in this. She also did a really great movie with Stallone called The Specialist that not a lot of people talk about. 94, I think. But Total Recall is one of the most rewatchable, awesome Arnie films ever. Again, this is a stellar 4K, just a stellar 4K. I can't put this one over enough. If you're a Paul Verhoeven fan, which you should be if you're not, you can't go wrong with this. This and RoboCop are like two of the best double feature movies you could ever do. Terminator 2. This is the 4K Steelbook. Now, why do I have this? I was vocal for a while saying I wasn't going to get it. The truth is, I got this when it went on sale for Black Friday a couple years ago for like 10 or 11 bucks. Super cheap. And I got it just because it's like a trophy for this film. Look how good this looks. Look at that steelbook. That is incredible. Look at the back of that. Yeah, there's no denying that it's really nice. But what sucks about this, so glad you asked, it's one of the most DNR'd, terrible 4Ks you'll ever see. It looks horrible. I don't know what James Cameron was smoking that day, but his mixture was off. And that gave a lot of people pause for the future, because there are films like True Lies that people are dying to see on 4K, and I know I am, which apparently it's coming. But we have other James, and The Abyss, but we have other 4Ks from James that look good, but I don't know what happened with this one, but this looks like a travesty. If you can get this cheap, it is cool. I wouldn't get the regular release because then you're just getting it to own it. But if you can get this, the Steelbook is beyond cool. So it's somewhat made up for the movie not looking great on 4K. But if you look at this on like Blu-ray.com or something, or forums or whatever, it has one of the worst reputations of a 4K ever. We don't have the first Terminator on 4K, which is bullcrap. I poke fun at the first Terminator film a lot, I know. But the truth is, we need it. It's a great movie. We need the first Terminator on 4K, and we need it to look really good. We can't play around, James. Don't screw us. Give us Terminator. Like, we need True Lies, don't get me wrong, and I really want True Lies, but give us Terminator. Next up, again, another great. Thankfully, this one looked great. This is a must-own. This should still always be available because Paramount's really good about not making their stuff limited. If you want it, you should be able to get it online. I'm talking about The Running Man 4K. Now, this one is really nice because Paramount did this really cool Steelbook slip release. So you get that artwork. This has the great Jesse Ventura in it again. This is a hysterical movie. This is one of the most underrated Arnie movies I think ever. I love this one. So here's the slipcover. Comes off. And here's the Steelbook, The Running Man. And they did a great job on that. And this is a 4K only release. So if you're watching this and you're not a 4K person, but you are maybe saying, hey, I'll get this if it's got the Blu-ray. This does not have the Blu-ray. T2 has a Blu-ray, Total Recall has a Blu-ray, and Red Heat do have Blu-rays for that matter. But this is one of the most epic Arnold Schwarzenegger films of all time. Super excited when Paramount announced this, and I think it's one of the best 4K scans so far of the bunch that we've talked about. So, yeah. And I'm going to show you the few that I don't have on 4K that are available, but I'm about to show you, in fact, the greatest, most underrated Arnold Schwarzenegger film of all time. I will fight to the absolute death for this movie. To the absolute death. This is his best movie. It's ingenious, it's witty, it's smart, it's funny. I'm talking about Last Action Hero. This is my all-time favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger film. I was beyond ecstatic when this got announced on 4K. So I initially got this released because, like an idiot, I tried to get Last Action Hero, the Steelbook at the store, and it was gone, so I got the standard release. And then luckily, down the road, this came back, and my buddy Kyle was able to help me secure this one. Shout out, buddy. An amazing steelbook because it's literally the original poster art. Here's the backside with Jack Slater. Somebody here is watching this and saying, "Oh, I've never even seen Last Action Hero. Is it good?" It's got the greatest soundtrack of any movie from the 90s. You've got AC/DC, you've got Alice in Chains, you've got Megadeth, you've got Tesla. The soundtrack is insane. It's like the Shocker of action films, soundtrack-wise. This movie is smart, it's witty, it's action-packed, it is so rewatchable. Anybody that watches Last Action Hero will tell you it's the real deal. This was a great 4K. This one does come, in fact, with a Blu-ray as well. But this movie is everything. I love Last Action Hero, so you know what? I'm glad to have 2 copies of it. So guys, those are the ones that I own. Let's go back and let's go and look at some of the other movies that Arnold has on 4K that you could get right now. All right, so we've got Predator, which I'm fixing this one right now. I've heard this one looks great, so that's definitely on its way to me very soon. We also got Terminator Genesis, which may look really good, but not a film I'm really a big fan of. Dark Fate I have the Blu-ray for, and I don't know, I think I'm okay with that, but you can get this one as well. And the surprise one was Escape Plan. I actually really liked that movie, but I didn't even know it came out on 4K until I was researching. Okay guys, so you can see that there's still a lot of great titles that we could use on 4K. You know, I would take... Oh, we do know that the Conan movies are in fact coming on 4K from Arrow Video early in January, so that's super exciting. But all of the ones that I own, the one that I would put over the most to you to get, honestly, bias aside, for the average person, would be Total Recall. This is going to be the one that you're going to want to grab. This one looks insane, sounds great. If you trust me and you haven't seen this movie, I'm telling you, go and get Last Action Hero. This is one of the greatest movies you'll ever see in your life. But guys, that is Arnold Schwarzenegger on 4K UHD. If you would like me to do this for like Stallone or Jean-Claude Van Damme, even though that may be a very short video, let me know. I'd love to do it. Action is my bread and butter. I love this genre so much, especially 80s and 90s action. There you go, guys. Schwarzenegger on 4K UHD. See y'all next time. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.